This is Sports with Blake. Sports with Blake, episode 2. I'm here chilling. It's all about the sports. I'm here with my guy Nick Bright. No introduction really. I've known him for many years. Uni boys, local lad. And it's a pleasure to have you, man. You know, let's give it up for Nick Bright in the house. Come on. Sports with Blake. Jeez.
Champion.
How are you, bro?
Yeah, man, I'm good. You know what I mean? I obviously had to represent with the retro drip. I mean, where's yours?
Obviously, it's not retro,
Yeah,
but
I know.
it's just, it's Man U. You know how we do second place and all that.
Difference is I like the retro drip 'cause it reminds me of when we used to win.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Invincible days. Yeah. Trust me, great times. Those are great battles, Arsenal, Man United, right?
Oi, I know we're going to talk about it in more detail in a bit, but being from London, which is mad because obviously Man United stands for Manchester United.
Yeah.
But when you grow up, especially my age, when you grow up in London, South London, it was Arsenal or United. The playground was Arsenal fans because of Ian Wright or Man United fans because of Glory Hunters.
Yeah.
That's what it was, you know?
Yeah, man, but trust me, Arsenal, Man United, that's what it was. It was in school days, the rivalry was just deep.
But
And
that's why even now, bruv,
Yeah.
have you noticed the teams ain't been competing for the league for a while? I know
Yeah.
Man United finished second this
Yeah,
season, but City won it by a mile.
Yeah,
Let's be honest.
100%,
But the teams ain't been competing for a minute. But when the games come up, amongst the fans is still a big thing.
Yeah,
because
100%,
Because
yeah.
you don't want to lose. As an Arsenal fan, I don't want to lose against Man United because I got bare Man United friends who are just texting me it's too much.
The pride is still there, and it's a big rivalry, and we're gonna get detailed into that a bit later on in the show. But I just want to give you that proper introduction and those flowers, bro. So you are, a music broadcaster over 10 years deep at, BBC Radio 1Extra, one of the
Feels
biggest
mad.
stations in the country, absolute classic station, champion station of great music that's come out of this country and the world. And also you delved into the sports world, and now you're a sports broadcaster on 5 Live with the squad, your own show.
I'm trying to blag it.
Arsenal
basically.
Nation,
Yeah.
interviewing all the Arsenal players. You're doing big things,
you're gassing me, bro.
Trust me,
You're
I'm
gassing
loving
me.
it though.
Loving
the growth.
It's mad because on the start of this journey, I never really even set out to be a presenter.
Yeah.
Bruv, you know what I mean? I worked at 1Extra. We went
Yeah,
uni
of course,
together.
yeah,
I
100%.
did radio production at uni. That's working behind the scenes and that, innit?
Yeah.
And then I got a job at 1Extra doing that. And I was like, cool, this is what I want to do. I'm gassed just to be in the building. And then, Mr. Jam, who used to be at 1Extra, used to talk to me on the mic. And, the bosses were like, it sounds all right, you on the mic. You thought about putting in a demo? And I was like, no. And they were like, you should just put in a demo. And then I put it in. And, like you said, that was 2009. And, here we are.
And you're still here going strong. You got your Saturday show.
Yeah.
I believe it's 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. every
Still
Saturday,
there.
BBC Radio 1Extra. Just a quick one on that, on the radio and that, just for people out there. What's the key, would you say, to longevity? Because 10 years, a decade at a commercial radio station, and you're still going strong. It's unheard of nowadays, and you're still doing your thing, and you're still very young as well. How is that,
mid-30s now, bro, you know what I mean?
But having such a, because such a, what can I say, the wealth of experience, man. You're well seasoned, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I would just say, a hunger for new music is always there. That's never gone, you know what I mean? Obviously my entry point into music when I was growing up is grime, garage before that, hip hop, US hip hop, because obviously it weren't popping. It's mad because now if you look at the 1Extra playlist now compared to even when I started and when 1Extra launched in 2002, it's all American stuff.
Yeah.
Now if you listen to 1Extra, it's 90% UK stuff.
Come a long way.
It's wild. So just always wanting to know about fresh music, new music. That obviously keeps you relevant. But also, and I don't say this to be big-headed because I'm not a big-headed guy, but just being good at your craft. I feel sometimes, especially nowadays, that gets forgotten because people are chasing numbers or chasing kind of going viral or whatever. But broadcasting on the radio is different to going viral. It sounds really boring, but hitting the news on time, is a real skill as opposed to, I don't know, doing the silhouette challenge on TikTok.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just different, bro.
For real.
So those two things have stuck with me well, and also just decent connections, I guess, and I've been lucky over my career to have good advice and good mentors like Trevor Nelson, Like
Honourable shout out to Trevor Nelson all the time.
Like
every
Trevor's
time.
an OG, mate. You know what I mean? If you're not sure who Trevor is, just get on Google.
Trust
me. He kind of took me under his wing early and like gave me a lot of advice and stuff like that, and I think that helped, you know. And here we are. I'm still there. I mean, if I could have like half the longevity that Trevor's had. Because he's been on the radio since forever. And he's still there.
River Nation now on Radio 2, One Extra, still going strong. Yeah, we had a chat
Sick.
the other day as well, actually. About half an hour we were chatting on the phone. He was giving me some gems about like my first commercial radio show I'd done. So that was good having a chat with him about that.
Listen, one thing I'll tell you about Trevor, is when you speak to him on the phone, it's like you're getting your own personal radio show.
Oh, trust me.
It's like hard, like it's like a one-way convo because he's just like chatting, and it's like I need to try and come into this convo. He's a heart of gold for someone who's so successful as well.
Oh man,
you know what I mean, proper heart of gold.
There's a gem knowledge in it that you just hold with you and stuff, and now you just made the transition into sports broadcasting. I see like over time you were slowly doing it, like, you know, you was doing small things, man. You was moving to 5 Live, doing features, and then you had your own show. Then you started working with Arsenal. Like how was that transition? Did you feel like, being a natural sports fan, did you feel that it was time to kind of get into that arena more long term?
Yeah, I mean, I guess part of it comes down to the fact that you can't be on youth radio forever. You know what I mean? Like, I know we've just used Trevor as an example, but he's an anomaly to the rule because, like, generally when you're to be on youth radio, you need to be young, innit? You know, because you need to appeal to the audience. The audience need to see people that they feel reflects them. So, like, I knew that I wouldn't be there forever. Thankfully, I'm still there, you know. And if Farron, if you ever watch this, mate, the boss, you know, renew that contract. But on a real, like, I knew that I needed to do something else.
Yes.
You know, because in the time that I'd been at One Extra, I'd seen broadcasters that I had looked up to before I got signed. I see them lose their show, and then they didn't have anything else going on.
Disappeared, innit?
Yeah, like, because they were like, oh, I'm on the radio, I'm cool, this is all I'm gonna do, and then it's like they left, and now they're not really doing anything, and I didn't want to be in that position because I'd given up my career was production, working behind the scenes, and I gave that up to present. And it's like, you can't really go back to that once you've been, like, I can't go back to producing shows on One Extra. It'd just be weird, you know what I mean?
That's gem talk right there.
Very strange. So I decided early doors that I wanted to try and start working at BBC Sport. It weren't easy, bruv.
Oh,
like,
really?
Real talk. The BBC, it's so different now. Even, like, I started trying to build links with BBC Sport about 7 years ago. Wow. There was no links. It was like 2 separate companies. And I tell people this stuff all the time. Like, I know this is a sport podcast, but like... Like, when people get annoyed about the license fee or BBC News or whatever, it's like different companies, bruv. Like, when people are, like, attacking One Extra because of something that happened on BBC News, I'm like, that's almost like a different company. We don't talk to the news people, you know. They're, like, on a different floor.
Same language.
Like, it's just like a different place. So it's like... BBC Sport was like that for me, and the fact that it was in Manchester was even more, Salford, you know, because BBC Sport's in Salford, not Manchester, sorry, different cities, but close. But, like, so for me, like, I was like, how can I kind of get in there? And then I started trying to meet people and do things and blah, blah, blah. And then after the Olympics in 2012, they set up a thing called Get Inspired, which was like,
I remember that,
it was like a division of BBC Sport that was trying to keep people playing sport. Yeah. You know, like the Olympic legacy.
You
know, all those people that got inspired during the Olympics and blah, blah, blah.
Sports with Blake.
On Dan Blake TV on YouTube. Sports with Blake podcast, episode 2, we're back, and we got the big sponsors in the house, the Garden of Rhythm. It's all about the rhythm in your life, the studios, the music, the culture, the podcast, the adverts, the radio shows. Text for Gore Advertising. This podcast is sponsored by the Garden of Rhythm. Gore hosts live music events in London, shining a light on new up-and-coming talents. Their next event is coming up real soon. I can't give you a date right now, but real soon. But you need to check them out on the website to get further information. gardenofrhythm.com, or find the link below. All right, let's move on. Let's keep it sports. So Nick, tell us, man. So Get Inspired project was, you know, popping off, getting into the whole BBC Sport arena. Carry on, bro. Yeah,
so then I, like, basically from there, you know, this industry's based on contacts. Most industries 100%. Are, you know what I mean? So I started meeting people. And then I met a woman called Sharon Fuller. Big up Sharon, because, like, I pretty much owe everything I've done at BBC Sport to her. because she was running Get Inspired. I did a thing for her, snowboarding thing. Weirdly, I've never been snowboarding, right? And you know they got those like indoor ski slopes. Like there's one in Manchester, and I had to do a feature there, and they really loved the feature. And then from there, she was like, "Oh, we want you to do some more stuff," and that's just kind of how it happened. And then other people at BBC Sport then started to see me, and then eventually, cut a long story short, I'm interviewing footballers for Football Focus, which is mad because I'm not going to say I'm like a big Football Focus fan because like it's always been a show that's been targeted to people slightly older than me, I would say. But like I always knew what Football Focus was, you know what I mean? Like, because it's a big football show on a Saturday morning on BBC.
Yeah.
So like I would see people sitting down and interviewing footballers, and sometimes in this industry you get imposter syndrome, you know what I mean? Like even somebody who's been in the game for a long time, like I've been doing it for a while, but like I remember I was sitting there waiting for Raheem Sterling to come out. I was at St George's Park, which is where England train. And it's probably the biggest football interview I've done because, like, it was at the time when, like now Raheem Sterling he's not vilified by the press anymore because the press all got done for it, innit? You know what I mean? Whereas before, the press were coming after him, man. Like everything he did, it was like, oh, he's got a gun tattooed on his leg. He's done this. He's shopping in Primark. Blah, blah, blah.
All of that.
Yeah. So it was around that time. And like I never forget, I'm sitting there, and obviously when you're doing an interview, you're in control of the output of the BBC essentially. Like, you're not, because it's not live, like but it's still like you've only got a certain amount of time with this player. You got to get it right, because if you mess it up, like you won't get a second chance to do it. So like I'm sitting there, and then there's bare people around, like because they're worried about Sterling getting ambushed for like mad questions. There was like. Normally, when you do an interview, you might have one PR person there listening to what you're saying, and then...
Did they ask you to, like, did they have pre-recorded questions for you?
They didn't ask to see my questions, actually, which was cool. But,
Yeah.
like, I never forget, we're sitting, like, opposite each other like this, and just as Sterling rocked up, one of the press guys, he put his iPhone under my chair to record, like, everything I was saying, like, to make sure, like... I'm not trying to catch him out with like anything, but it was super cool in the end, because I'm not that guy. I'm not a journalist as well. Do you know what I mean?
There's a difference. People need to know, like, between a presenter and a journalist.
I'm just the idiot that plays music on the radio and has a laugh in it, and I like sport. So it's like, and then when I sit down with these footballers, like there are certain questions you have to ask because topical stuff, like if you were to sit down with a Man United player this week, you would have asked about the Europa League final and stuff like that. But like, they've done a million interviews like that. They don't even really want to talk about it, bruv. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they want. I feel like, they want someone they can relate to, like on a natural vibe. Well, sometimes,
with Sterling, like he lit up the most when we were chatting about Jamaica.
You see what I'm saying? That kind of stuff.
Because obviously, that's where he's from.
Yeah,
and that's where he started his life and stuff. So, we were chatting about what it was like in Jamaica and. Like he was talking about the music and the culture and all of that. And that's what I feel, especially on those mainstream shows. You have to do the nitty gritty and all of that of football. But like, I feel like all the times that I've sat down with footballers, the times that they're happiest is when you're not chatting about football. Like
amazing.
Tariq Lamptey, another one, youngster at Brighton, sick player. Like sat down with him, left back for Brighton, been injured though this season. But I sat down with him and like when we were talking about his family, that was sick because his parents are Ghanaian, and obviously my granddad's Ghanaian. So like we were chatting about jollof, obviously.
Of course, the best jollof.
Sorry, but he was slewing the Niger jollof.
Sorry, Jojo. Hey, Ghana jollof all day, nice and soft, not the long grain.
He was slewing that. But what I mean is like,
I big up everybody.
Like I feel like within the BBC sphere, anyway. Obviously, there's loads of people that know about the jollof argument and all of that. But within the BBC sphere. Like, I feel like nobody else would have asked that question. Yeah. And that's because I work at One Extra and I come from that and I understand that,
cultural references.
That it's a thing, like other people would just sit down and be like, oh, what's it like playing for Brighton? Have you had a good season? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's cool, but,
See that trophy talk right there. I may have to lift the trophy for that. Walk it.
You need a bigger
trophy,
one, bruv. Really. I mean, it's getting dwarfed a bit. You know, where's the big trophies at?
Right, we're coming, soon come. So yeah, that's excellent, bro. But the gem talk you're dropping though, just the process of interviewing, you know, massive football players and stars, and seeing the mindset into the interviews that you're doing, and those key things that actually bring out the personality in the players away from the pitch. I think people want to see that worldwide. People want to see what makes them tick when they're not playing ball. People are interested in
100%.
that.
You know, one of the things I remember a few years ago, we did One Extra Live in Manchester. Rio Ferdinand. We were doing a panel before the show, so we were in a venue in Manchester, and it was like Amir Khan's trainer.
I'm all jealous now. Rio Ferdinand, that's
Rio
my
Ferdinand
guy.
was on the panel.
Big shouts to Rio. Yeah.
Who else was on the panel? It was two other people, but I can't remember. But Rio said on the panel, he was like, you know, you'll see me on TV doing interviews, and I'm different to how I am now.
Yeah,
you know,
just relaxed, chilled.
Because like. Footballers, first and foremost, they're worried about their words getting twisted when they do a lot of interviews, one. But two, it's like they get asked the same stuff. You know, after the match, it's like, you know, how was that for you? Like, they're not going to come on and be like, you know, well, some do now and say that it was awful. But most of the time, they're like, yeah, you know, the lads gave 100%. You know, all of that.
Remember that. And the thing is that you say that, but it's facts, man. Because you remember watching the after game interviews, and when you used to watch the games, you would kind of know as a fan, you're waiting for that whole generic answers, those 5 questions and the generic answers.
It almost became, and even in some cases still now, it's pointless. I kind of feel like there's no point doing these interviews because all you're going to get is, if they've won, they might go, we're delighted, really great performance, blah blah blah. The lads really pulled it out as a team. Or if they lost, disappointed. You know,
same tone, innit?
There's almost no point in doing it. That's why when someone does do an interview, like Troy Deeney, remember when he slewed Arsenal?
Remember that
about the cojones.
I remember.
I asked him. I interviewed him a few weeks ago and asked him about that actually. But like, anyway, like he made a splash because, like, I know some Arsenal fans didn't like it, and me at the time as well, as an Arsenal fan, I was like, oh, Troy Deeney's a dickhead, man. Why is he saying that? You know what I mean? But actually, when I chatted to him, he's a super cool guy, and now that I'm a little bit more long in the tooth in this industry, I look back at it and I'm like, I'm kind of glad he did that because it's just a little something. You know?
Something of emotion and energy. Like
American sports, and I know we don't, you know, Brits and Americans are very different people in the way that we are. But like, I love the way they behave in American sports.
It's passion, bro.
But it's also entertainment.
Yeah,
you know
cheeky entertainment, one-liners, all of that.
Everything. From even like what they're wearing when they show up to the press conferences. Like, everything is more of a kind of
a show.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, you know, I want to turn football into a show because you know, we're not about the European Super League round here or anything. But like, but I feel like sometimes it would be nice for the players and, you know, people to feel comfortable enough.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to put this on the players. I'm just saying, like, to feel comfortable enough to show their true selves.
Yeah, to let loose. But I feel like you say that, but it's the media sometimes, especially the papers. They really, you know, and social media. Obviously, you see the blackout with social media recently, putting all the pressure on the players. So that's why they're not opening up. But it takes broadcasters like yourself, you know, to keep, you know, breaking down those barriers, you know, making these players comfortable and being the change, you know, in the industry.
I think slowly but surely, it's starting to happen a bit more. You know, we're seeing more and more players come through now who are a bit more outspoken.
Yeah, this is it.
You know, and for me, that's cool. Obviously, you know, they shouldn't be saying anything that gets anybody sued or whatever. But like, you know, like just to be able to talk about their personality and what they like away from football and blah blah blah. You know, that's especially because the world now is changed in that people who like football also have other interests, and they want to know what the other interests are of those football players. Like, there's some players out there who don't even watch football in their spare time.
Right.
And they're football players, you know what I mean?
That. And the man are playing piano in their spare time.
They do not watch the game. They're not interested in the game.
Different hobbies completely away. But I get that. It's just because it's a focus, isn't it? It's a focus, it's composure, it's mindset, it's 24 tunnel vision. So it's like stepping aside, just have some moment for yourself and time to breathe away and then refocus. I think it's good. So it can only channel great players, you know?
It would be like you, just like... just listening to voiceovers all day, every day.
This I'm trying to say. It's like, you don't want to be doing that all day. You know, you want to step aside watch something else, do something else, just to keep your
Relax.
mind sane, you know? Because it's a high pressure job, it's high pressure environment. You got the fans on you, expectations are high all the time, whether you win or lose.
Sometimes we forget that though,
Yeah.
innit? As even us as fans,
yeah.
like, you know, it always comes down to money. You know, we're always like, oh, they should be able to deal with that because they get paid, you know, X, Y, Z a
that's
week
the one
and
we
blah,
say,
blah, blah.
right, yeah.
But, you know, they're humans. At the end. We're all humans, you know?
yeah.
Like, the money's cool, but like, if you're depressed or you're sad or you're upset, you know, the money's not really going to change that. Like, it can change your surroundings, but like, what happens in here and in here, like, I don't think money really controls that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I always the thing about sports stars, I just always I'm a big sports documentary man. I love the documentaries, the psychological impacts behind what they do, you know, and why they do it. Those things fascinate me, bro. And it's like when you speak to players, like, I've never interviewed a football player, but it's like when you've interviewed football players, if there's something in their psyche that you see that you're like, rah, you're just a different individual and you're just built different, you're wired differently. To like a normal civilian. You know what I mean? Like,
not
I don't
particularly.
know. Just like what is that thing that you think that makes them become that person that is, you know, making 20,000, 50,000 people, you know, running on their emotions like crazy, cheering, roaring.
Do you know, like, my overriding feeling after interviewing footballers is that they are just, you know, you use the word normal civilians. Like, they are, like, exactly that. And in some cases, you know, I'll spare saying names, but in some cases, they're really boring people.
Really?
Yeah. Like, you will interview a footballer, and it's like, I'll come away from the interview thinking, my God, like, if you weren't doing this, I don't know what you'd be doing. Because, like,
paint couldn't dry.
Yeah, you've just got nothing about you. You know what I mean? And
right.
and that might partly be down to, you know, sometimes they can't be bothered to do media.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like they just they want to go
yeah.
home or whatever. But I guess the players at the top. The one thing that I can say about, you know, a few of the Arsenal players and Alexander Arnold, I interviewed him.
What's the most famous Arsenal player you've interviewed?
The most famous Arsenal player.
I think he done something with Lee Dixon. I think I saw.
Yeah. I did Lee Dixon. I was wearing this shirt. And I did that. I did it at the Camden Town Brewery. That was, but it's got to be Oba.
Oh wow!
Like I did interview with Oba for Football Focus, which was quite cool. It's quite rare as well because let me tell you, you know, like Arsenal might not forgive me for saying this, but like they don't always tend to offer up the big stars for the interviews. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
interesting.
They'll like. Yeah, again, I won't say. I'll spare saying any players' names, but they'll give you certain players that aren't the big ones to do the interviews. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But we got Oba, and that was really cool. You know what I mean? But yeah, the thing about all the players, the trend that runs through them all is work ethic.
Work ethic.
You know what I mean?
Relentless,
like, yeah. That's the thing that I take from my conversations with them. You know, like I'll come away from it thinking like, you sound determined even now. And like I feel like to become a footballer you need that, because like, you know, I can't remember the stats off the top of my head, but the rate that players are cut like from academies and stuff like that is mental. Like, you know, the amount that don't make it. And you know, I think there's been documentaries on this in the past. You're the big sports stock guy, maybe you can tell me, but like the depression and the kind of upset from players that don't make it, because now players are getting signed from like 4, 5, 6 years old. Do you know what I mean? So like all they've known is football. They do their education at the academy. They do everything at the academy, right? And then if they don't make it, they get cut, and then they got to go into the real world when all they've known is the football club kind of holding their hand through everything. You know what I mean? So that's a big issue in the football community, and kind of, you know, caring for and making sure that those kind of players that don't make it are okay, you know?
Yeah, I feel with that, a good thing to do possibly with that kind of thing is, you know, when they're at that stage where they may have to move on and they may not know what to do, you know, there should be some, maybe the football organisations, there should be some kind of charity that, you know, can come together and take some of these players, you know, and bring them, you know, for advice, you know, on their next steps in life, you know, instead of kind of going into the wilderness and not knowing what to do with themselves, you know.
I mean, the issue is, it sounds like a great idea, but the issue is, bro, there is just so many. You've got to think how many academies there are in the country. You know what I mean? The Premier League's got 20 teams, right? But then you got Championship down there. You got other there's literally thousands of academies in the country.
And it's like, 1%, 2% going to make it really in football. And everyone's got that, I'm going to make it as a baller when you're a youngster.
That's why, as an Arsenal fan, I'm gassed at the minute. Because, like, obviously, we got Smith Rowe doing his thing. Helen Boys, you know, Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, Saka's my guy.
Maitland-Niles, he's been on loan. I mean, West Brom got relegated, but, you know, whatever. Joe Willock been smashing it at Newcastle. All hail him, boys. You know, Willock's brother at United. One of he's got two brothers, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sure one of them was at United.
Bro, I'm just.
The older one. I think that all of them started at Arsenal, and the older one went to United. But I think now.
The older one went to United, and then the other one went to Porto or Lisbon. He went to Portugal.
You know what? I just want to. While we're on the Arsenal talk, big up Lee Dixon actually, because I bumped into him at the airport.
Did you ambush him? Yeah.
No, it's random. Like I was pulling up. I think I was going to Spain or somewhere, and then he jumped out of the car. He just jumped out of the car. I jumped out of the car. I was like, right, Lee Dixon. Jeez, one of them. You know, one of them moments where you just jump out. He's right there.
Did you chat to him then?
I screwed him and just kept it moving.
Oh wow!
But he just looked at me. I looked at him. He just caught eye contact, and I was
he was probably like, I don't want to talk to him. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause that's what it's like for celebs sometimes.
You know, but it's like going up to him at the air. You know, them airport ones. I weren't really on it. I didn't want to like, you know, be the little groupie fan. Like, hey, Lee Dixon.
I remember I went to see Kanye West in Miami, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I keep going off on tangents. By the way, it's meant to be sports with Blake. Man's just chatting.
We're just warming. Yeah.
I saw Kanye West in Miami on the St. Pablo tour, and I had sick seats for it. I bought the seats because you can try and blag tickets through this industry, but like it's like a lottery. When you blag tickets, sometimes you get amazing seats, and then other times you're in the nosebleed seats. And I was like, if I'm going Miami to see Kanye West, I want 6 seats. So like, I bought these tickets. And they were in like the American Airlines lounge. Yeah. So it's like you had table service, like people coming up to you with the drinks and that. It was fucking sick. Like, and Kim Kardashian was like behind us. Oh, yeah. You know, so the seats were so good. Like they were filming for Keeping Up with the Kardashians behind where I was sitting. Wow. But then when I left, or I was going toilet, I was going somewhere anyway, and I walked out. And Fat Joe was there. He was like walking past me, and I was like,
back.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, what's going on? Fat Joe. I was like a bit. I was a bit drunk anyway. You know what I mean? Because I've been on the sauce and that. And I'm like, yeah, Fat Joe, what's going on, bruv? He aired me the hardest I've ever been aired in my life. You know, like when someone don't even blink.
Don't even notice you're there.
He did not. His eyes were like, say they're looking over there.
I know them ones.
He just.
The model walk, innit? That model strike a pose. Don't even know anybody's around.
But the thing is, because I was waved, it didn't even really hit.
I know what you mean.
If I was like sober, I probably would have been real hurt about it. But because I was waved, I was just like, you know, whatever. Keep it moving. Another drink. You know what I mean?
Did anyone see it? That's the one. No one saw it.
Well, luckily, Kanye was on stage, and I don't know if the St. Pablo tour was when they had the like elevated stage, and it was like moved across the whole arena and that. So it's like people were they were transfixed on that. So
he's been on that stagecraft from early. I went and saw him at graduation tour, early doors at the O2 Arena. So he was doing stagecraft, spaceships kind of stuff from then.
Bro,
you know? So
like
he's been on it.
I wanted to see him from a long time. You know.
Yeah,
what I mean?
easy.
Like, you got in there early.
Trust me. I remember I bought the hoodie as well, like with the little graduation teddy bear on the back for like 50 quid. Still got the program as well.
You still got the hoodie?
Yeah. Nah, the artwork started to fade, so I just dashed it away.
Kept that. That'd be worth dough now, mate.
Yeah,
you know?
I've still got the program though. Maybe a little something on that. I don't know.
eBay.
eBay too. But yeah, you know what? I wanted to give a little honourable shout out just to Arsenal and the culture of the club. As a United fan, I used to even work at Arsenal in hospitality for a good couple of years, and just a couple of moments I just want to tell you about that I experienced at Emirates.
Okay.
Just like day-to-day stuff like I remember we used to go around and have to like put staff in kiosks and stuff like that.
So did you have to like go in a bit by the car park
underneath,
everywhere,
check in,
all of that?
So I think I spent about 5 seasons at Arsenal. Like a lot of the Wenger area, I was there 5 seasons solid, 5-6 seasons doing a job called the staffing team. We look after staff and that working on match days. And I remember like we have to put the staff in kiosks and all that. All good. When you're walking around the stadium, you're checking that the staff, how many staffs in the
Them
kiosks.
kiosks are too expensive, mate. Let me tell you that from the off.
Really?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the burgers are like 20 quid or something. 50.
Like a burger, like a hot dog, chips and a drink. You're looking like 25 quid.
Yeah, you got to be ready.
I got to be on Aubameyang's wages just to eat in there. You know what I mean? Jeez.
Trust. And then like, I remember bumping. I turned around. Another turnaround moment. Turn around. Gary Neville's behind me, and the first thing I say is Man United for life. Shake his hand. Them serious ones there, you know. I'm not turning
didn't
around.
even say hello.
No hello. Hey, this is
like Man United for life.
Yo, on an OG vibe. I couldn't believe it. I was like, right, Neville. They didn't even say Neville. I just said United for life. Shook his hand. He said, nodded his head. But he was going to when I look back at it in hindsight, I think he was going back to the commentary area, even for Sky Sports. It was on level 1, so he was going back to the commentary area to do his thing. It was kind of early Sky Sports days for him, like just coming into the job, coming off a player. But I was just so amazed to see him just walking around in like casually on level 1, going back to the commentary area amongst the fans, which I liked. I was like, yeah, that's cool.
Listen,
bit brave though.
No, but Neville loves it, man. We saw, when the Liverpool, the United Liverpool game that got called off recently.
He's out there.
The fans broke into Old Trafford, innit? Like him and Jamie Carragher, they went down and like chatted to the fans and that, you know what I mean?
So that's the context of the point there. So he's a guy that'll be out in the field with people, because that's you mentioned that, and that's what he was doing there. I was like, right, I would just. So when I went back downstairs, I was like, right, this was Gary Neville, da da da, and I was like, right, you just out there normal, you know. That's what you want. On the ground behaviours is good, you know.
Yeah.
With the fans, seeing what's really good and what's going on in the culture. And also, I remember I was working one day. And it was a rock concert going on with Muse.
Okay,
you know the music band Muse?
Of course.
And Dizzy Rascal was just walking around the Arsenal canteen.
He was supporting them.
Yeah, he was supporting. But it was interesting that he just rolls up in his Porsche, just parks up in the car park.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey Dizzy, what's going on, bro? You good? Yeah, man, all good, bro. Yeah, off to the Muse concert. Just walks in with his little backpack like he's going down to the park for a run or something. You know what I mean? Like no extra baggage, nothing. No entourage. Just one up.
That's what you want. You know what I mean?
Sweet as a nut, like about 50, 60,000 out there. Easy, day's work.
Listen, like, people that rock up with, like, a massive entourage, always issues, isn't it? Yeah. Like, always issues. But, yeah, no, I've never been to a concert at the Emirates, actually. Was it good? Did you enjoy Muse?
Yeah, boy, it was all right. But it was good to see Dizzy doing his thing. I was just like, Dizzy shutting it down at Emirates was nice, bro, you know. I don't know if Dizzy's really a football guy. But you know what? The big one I'll tell you about, though, is there was big honourable shout out to Ennis if you see this. I know you're an Arsenal fan, so I'll send this to you. One of my old colleagues, proper diehard Arsenal fan. He was a little younger than man, but he used to run around, high energy, you know, always up to mischief on a shift on an Arsenal day, running around, trying to chirp all the girls and that.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and then like, guess who was there on that day? I think we went to like one of the higher levels to do like the staff check, doing the staff check now. He goes in to have a little peep at the game and whatnot. Check there's no staff in the kiosks. He looks out. He sees J. Cole sitting down.
For real?
J. Cole on his ones.
Just watching the game.
Normal clothes. No entourage again, just watching the game.
That's
J.
sick.
Cole.
Yeah.
They go, I come out. I got these time I'm not a fan of J. Cole. He's fresh J. Cole. Early J. Cole. So I just take the picture. Them man are gassed, they love J. Cole. I said, J. Cole, yeah. Took the picture for them, man. Went about his business. He was just there, one up, doing his thing. No one even noticed it was him, bro. You know?
So you didn't get the picture?
No, I didn't care.
That's what I mean, but now you do.
Yeah, but
you're upset now, you know what I mean?
I'm like, well, it's just like, right, like, you know, yeah, now you're like, right, I should have got that picture.
I could have flexed with this picture. You know what I mean? He just dropped the album this week, you know?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So J. Cole, you know, he's a gooner, honourable gooner, man.
Some people, like, loads of rappers and stuff have been to the Emirates, because the thing is, because Arsenal obviously is the biggest club in London, like, you know, irrespective of what people like to say when they're bantering in terms of global reach and global fan base and blah, 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 Arsenal is the biggest club in London.
100.
Like, when Americans come over here, they all go to the Emirates. You remember Rihanna's been a couple times.
Jay-Z.
You know what I mean? Jay-Z's been there,
pulled up a good couple times.
He went with Chris Martin from Coldplay, innit?
I think I was working that time when he was there. Like, I remember some of the hospitality staff running down, like, oh my days, Jay-Z's up there. Da, da, da. So
people like, because, you know, like, Arsenal's the club to go to in London, you know, even though Chelsea's in a trendier area, Stamford Bridge a bit of a dump, you know what I mean? Ground. Whereas the Emirates, bit nice,
It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful
But the best stadium, it pains me to say it now, is Tottenham Hotspur. That stadium
it's amazing, isn't it?
Have you been there?
I've seen it on TV. I ain't been there. I ain't pulled up yet.
I only went for NFL because I don't want to go and watch Spurs. But
hold that thought. And speaking of NFL, I had this for you, bruv. Check this out. Open this on camera, mate. Vintage stuff.
Vintage. Come on.
Jeez, I know you're an NFL man, so I had to go. You know, I'm a memorabilia man. You know, I got so much memorabilia, sports, music. So
Where did you get this?
NFL.
Teammate.
There you go, mate. I know you're a big
Fans
NFL
first. So what, were you in hospitality or something there?
I was just like roaming around, checking staff was all good.
Well, you just robbing stuff?
No, they give you the shit for free, bro.
Yo, that's sick.
Yeah.
October 2018. Yeah. I went to that game. I was at the Seahawks Raiders game.
Oh, you was there?
Yeah, and then I went to the Tennessee Titans Chargers game as well.
Crazy.
You know, so I went to 2 of the 3 games on there.
Love that. And you see, like, I'm gonna say, going back to Arsenal quick, and even Wenger, he was a man that what I respected about him as well. At the end of games, like the fans would be out there. He would come out. He would come out in his car. Then I would just see all the fans outside. He'll come outside with his car, pull off, but he wouldn't just drive away. He would just stop and then sign autographs.
Yeah, they all do that, bro. Like, so I remember Manuel Frimpong gave me a lift home once from Emirates. Yeah. Like, this is before I was doing anything for Arsenal, so I used to DJ for Lethal Bizzle.
Yeah.
Manuel Frimpong, obviously, is Lethal Bizzle's cousin.
Yeah.
So then...
Oh, yeah.
So, like, we went to a game, and then Frimmy... I used to live near Frimmy in Hertfordshire, and then he was like, I'll give you a lift home. And then when he was just a youth team player back then, maybe one Arsenal appearance, we came out of the stadium, they jumped on his car, you know what I mean? And like the window, like signing autographs and all of that. And Jeremy Aliadier, sometimes he gives me a lift home. Like,
I love that.
Because me and him are cool now. Like, he's got a nice G-Wagon as well, Jez. But like... Even him now, they still know who he is, and they still want to get the autographs from him. You know, like, but a lot of the time the players do stop, even when they lose, because you know it's a bit of a dick trait not to, because you know all you got to do is stop, put your window down, and sign a few things.
Yeah, some of them did pull. I won't name no names. Some of them did drive off though. Couple man what they would do though is drive fast, so you can't stop them. Like, come out the car park.
No, but you get caught because Jeremy told me.
That corner, you can't get Emirates' mate, you know.
When
that
you
corner.
come out, you come out. It's like that. It's the roundabout.
Yeah, it's that roundabout. All the flats right there.
Right. A lot of the time now, what they do is you have to turn right. When you come
got to turn right the bend. Yeah.
And then you get to the Tollington pub on the corner. But there's traffic lights there.
Yeah, you get pulled up there.
You get
by the cafe
again.
Bit, like the co-op bit, the shop there.
So it's like you get caught again and again and again. So it's like Jeremy was like, you're better off just doing it back there. Because then, you know, you'll just get caught and then caught.
Get caught like stages.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, let's get to the topic of the day, though. So it's Arsenal, Man United, the best games, and we're talking the best goals ever. Just in our view. You know, you may have a different view to us, but...
Your views are wrong, but...
Yeah, trust me, you're not ready for ours. You know, this is some legendary shit right now. Dan Blake, Nick Bright. So, Premier League, we're kicking it off with 2000, Arsenal versus Manchester United. It was a 1-0 victory to Arsenal.
I remember it.
Whew.
The
King, Henry, Thierry Henry, legendary Arsenal player, iconic, scores a little flick up. He didn't even look. I don't believe he looked. Little flick, volley, powerful volley, beautiful, bro. Tell us about it. Tell us your memories of it.
Like, it's mad because, like I said, around them times, you know, 2000 and you know the early noughties, that Arsenal were different gravy. You know, like. Obviously, that's pre-Invincibles, but we're building up to the Invincibles at this point, you know? Like, Wenger's there making mad signings.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing, because it was also around that time, how old must I have been back then? Year 9 at school. So it's like, it's when you start taking football a bit more seriously, innit? Because, like, for me, I got into supporting Arsenal because of my dad. Yeah. So, like, and my uncle and my granddad. Like... But when you're a kid, you don't really follow it properly. You know, you kind of say, "Oh, I support Arsenal," but like you don't really know what's going on. But then when you get into secondary school, that all starts to change. You know, like I said earlier, that rivalry, that banter in the playground was rife I went to all boys school in South London, bruv. So it's like, you know, you can imagine what it was like. Bare Man United fans. And then when Henry did that, I can just remember people in the playground trying to recreate that goal, like over and over and over. The goal was like, you know, Dan just explained it, but like he flicked it up. He had his back to goal, and then he just like took a little flick and then just span and then slapped it over. Was it Barthez in goal back then?
Yeah, Barthez was in goal.
Slapped it over Barthez.
Yeah, slapped it. Barthez
he didn't even move.
Yeah, he didn't even know what was going on.
Like
he looked after it was already in.
For me, it's like I think the only, off the top of my head, I could be wrong about this because I can't remember every single Arsenal goal off the top of my head, but like the only Arsenal goal that springs to mind straight away that is better than that one is the Dennis Bergkamp against Newcastle, where he like passed it to himself.
Yeah, and done a madness.
And like that goal, I feel like that will never be beaten as an Arsenal goal. But like in terms of Thierry's goals, he scored some great goals. You know, where he scored at White Hart Lane. You know, the celebration, the statue where he's on his knees. You know, that was obviously a great goal because he was at White Hart Lane or was it at Emirates? Anyway, like you know the goal I'm talking about, and that was a great goal. But to do that one that you just mentioned against Man United, big rivals,
and it was just like it's also just knowing your positioning, where you are on the pitch, having the cheek and confidence to even try and pull that off. Just thinking to yourself, "Wow, like you know, I don't even know what's going on in front of me, but I'm just gonna go with my skill and go through my gut and just have a shot, have a crack."
The top players, it's just instinctive to them. You know what I mean? Like Henry, he was just different gravy, and I feel blessed to have seen him in the flesh numerous times at the Emirates when I was young. You know, in Highbury before that, I saw him at Highbury. You know,
like that's honourable stuff there, Highbury.
My uncle used to take me. My uncle's been a season ticket holder my whole life, and like he used to take me. And there was one time he scored against, I think it was Derby County. Yeah, like he scored against them. And then he came over. We were sitting in the clock end in the front row, and he came over, and my uncle like grabbed he tried to walk away, and my uncle like pulled his shirt back towards him, and I was just this little kid like gassed, like Thierry Henry's right there, you know, like he's someone who I've never met actually, even though he's been at Emirates when I've been there working and blah blah blah, but like I think I'd be super excited to meet him. You know
I just saw whose Instagram did I see?
Would have been someone from work because he was at the BBC the other day.
I think it was Reece Parkinson. Big shout out to Reece. I saw like he was filming something in the old where he used to do the old meetings and stuff like. He was at the Beeb the other day. Yeah, for the Euro. I think it was Euro something related. Yeah, I was thinking of you. I think maybe you was in the building that day.
Listen,
you run down there.
Like if this COVID weren't on, mate, you know what I mean? I'd have been there.
Yeah, 100%. Henry, legend. That's moving on. Let's talk about the FA Cup semi-final, 1999. Just a quick one on it. Just a quick one. I know it was a tough game. It was a tough day. Aston Villa. I remember that. I was thinking to myself, you know, that was kind of the early days. I feel like when you would play a final on a different ground, on a neutral ground, from what I remember. And it was the result of that was 2-1 Manchester United. But I just remember Beckham kind of setting the mood with the kind of the strike that he took that day, like a left-hand corner, you know, 25-yarder, you know, that was kind of not on the Wimbledon vibes when he scored that goal, but like it was just kind of on that same kind of energy, having that confidence with the inside of his, you know, foot, which he was kind of renowned for, you know, and made something of his trademark, and then having the kind of, you know, again, the confidence and the ability to score a goal like that to kind of set the mood. And then, you know, Arsenal obviously scored also, you know, but then Giggs doing
hang on, wait, you're missing before Giggs. Bergkamp missed the penalty.
Bergkamp missed the pen.
That's the killer for me.
Yeah,
I remember everything about that day.
Yeah, you remember?
Like I was young then as well. Like I said a minute ago. Like when you're younger, you don't watch football in the same way. But I remember where I was. We were watching it in the pub. Like I grew up in South Norwood, so like in South London, just stones throw away from Selhurst Park, and. Crystal Palace's ground, if you don't know. And like there's a pub in South Norwood called the Albion. I think it's still there on the corner. We were in that pub. Bare Arsenal fans in there, as you can imagine. Because, you know, South London's got a lot of Arsenal fans.
100%.
And I remember Bergkamp got the penalty. And like my dad, maybe it's where I get my personality traits from. My dad's a loud guy. Like he's in the pub just like acting up now. You know what I mean? Because we're gonna win. Like he's thinking we got the Peno. You know, Dennis Bergkamp, the Iceman. He's gonna step up.
Ice cool. Yeah, bang it in.
Slot this in. Job done. We beat Man United as well. Rivals through to the final. You know, like, and then he missed it. Yeah. And then pretty much from the next phase of play, Ryan Giggs just does a madness.
Yeah, you want to tell him, or should I tell him? If you don't know,
were they wearing the blue and white kit that day?
No, he was wearing the white stripe, the white and black stripe.
White and black stripe. I remember it was stripy.
Yeah.
And I just, it was like Giggsy just picked it up and just
4 players, bro.
It's like nobody stopped him.
Strictly come dancing, mate.
It was crazy, and then he just went like it slotted it in, and then he took his top off, didn't he? When he scored, like that goal still haunts me now, because whenever Arsenal and United play in the FA Cup, they always reload that goal, innit? It's one of them ones.
It's one of them ones, bro. It is what it is. It's a classic goal. Football is a great game as well, man.
Yeah.
It was a very
I can't hate on it
game.
because even though I'm an Arsenal fan, it's in terms of like a magic moment in the world of football. You know, that was one of them for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Just to touch on before we move on from that, like I remember we was talking on the phone before this, and like we kind of had like a thing in common with, like, you know, you telling me you're from Norwood and me kind of growing up always I grew up in Forest Hill, and then you know, being a man that would always travel around on my bike and all that kind of stuff. I'd always ride my bike to Crystal Palace football ground. And Nick was saying to me Charlton's was my nearest club, but I don't know. I just kind of...
not from Forest Hill.
Yeah, would you say Palace probably doesn't...
Yeah, I meant from where you live now, which I'm not going to blow up on it, but like, you know, where you live now, I'd say Charlton's the closest, but like, Forest Hill, Crystal Palace, definitely.
Yeah, there we go. So I used to ride up to Crystal Palace Football Club, and, you know, real talk, I'll tell you some real gem stories right now on camera, like, we used to roll up to Crystal Palace Park. There'll be days, where the ground would be open, and swear down, touch wood. Yeah, one day it was a summer day. We chained up our bikes or whatnot. We had the ball, rucksack, and I had the ball. Groundsman was doing these cutting the grass, watering the plants and that. You know, cutting his always trim. Mate, we had the ball. We ran onto the pitch. Me and honourable shout out to Aaron McFarlane. He's just in LA right now with his family in Florida. He remembers the day because he was there. So we had the ball. We just went goal to goal, end to end.
What did the groundsman
playing
do?
football.
Didn't the groundsman stop you?
Playing football. No.
But he's there.
No, he was there at first, but then he just disappeared. We waited. Not like we were...
you were like hiding, like...
Not even that. We were just around and he just disappeared. So he's like, right, can't we go kick ball? I just said, let's do it. And we was kicking ball on Selhurst Park for a solid 45 minutes.
That's mad.
And because we're so small... and we're running, the pitch is so big.
Yeah, massive. That's one of the things I always remember about, like, when you're young and you play like an 11-a-side game. The pitch is like
huge.
It's like running for miles. Wow. The goals as well. I always used to, because I used to play football when I was growing up, and I used to play in goal a lot of the time. And it's like, the goals, like, how are kids expected to play in full-size goals? It's mad.
Bro, like, I don't even know what we was doing. I was trying to shoot from the halfway line.
Trying to do the Beckham.
Yeah, trying to do the Beckham. I was running for ages and then the goal still weren't there. But it was just, I remember the grass being so green. It was a summer's day, and I'll never forget that. I was like, right, I actually just went and just kicked ball on Selhurst Park, like no care in the world.
Listen, it's a different time though, because like I was saying to you on the phone, like I used to rock up to Selhurst Park when the games were on. I didn't have no tickets or nothing. I would literally just like rock up to Selhurst Park, stand outside, and then just like look through a gap. I'll be like staring through a little gap, you know, seeing a tiny little bit of action on the pitch. Every now and then you might see the ball come into what you can see. And then the last 10 minutes of the game, the ground staff would like open the gates to get ready to let the fans out.
I remember that. And then like, I remember.
They just used to let us like slip into the ground for the last 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, now that won't happen because of security and stuff like that. But
and I have to vouch for you, and that's a real fact because I remember that as well. Like I remember when they would open up the gates, and then you could see in for the last 10 minutes of the game. That's proper legendary stuff, bro. And like. And I remember, as I was saying, Bruce Dyer and Clinton Morrison, honourable shout out to them. They would give me like tickets to the games. I would stand outside. They would pull up in their nice cars and stuff, and then they would just give out tickets. And I was like players' lounge tickets as a young kid, you know, in a players' lounge. Oh, don't worry about it, man. It's cool. I was like, in the players' lounge, tickets, doing my thing, bro. 13 or 14, I can't remember the age.
Players' lounge,
Players' lounge vibes, bro.
Yeah, that's when players' lounges were very different.
Yeah.
Like, I remember my dad blagged us into the players' lounge when Wimbledon played one time.
Yeah.
He managed to get us into the players. I don't know how, because they used to ground share with Palace, innit?
Yeah.
And like Vinnie Jones is in there drinking pints, mate. You know what I mean? Getting
pints.
on the lash.
Yeah.
And then when Frimmy gave me that lift home that I was telling you about
yeah.
earlier at Emirates, I went in the players' lounge. Then it's so funny because it's when Arteta was playing for Arsenal.
Yeah.
So like RVP's in there,
Yeah.
Arteta with his kids and family and all of that. And you can only get fruit juice or tea or coffee, bro. There ain't no pints in the Arsenal players' lounge. Let me tell you, it's a different time.
Yeah.
But like, Sellers Park in the 90s,
Trust.
beer, you know?
Beer vibes. And Vinnie Jones, I remember bumping into him at Wimbledon Man United game. He gave me like a firm young man handshake. Yes, young man. You know what I mean? I was trying to see Beckham, but like, ended up bumping into Vinnie
legend,
Jones.
Legend, though. Come on, legend.
I always remember that. And honourable shout out to Clinton Morrison, Bruce Dyer, helped a young brother out them days there.
Yeah.
Good men. Good
Clinton's, it's mad because obviously he's a colleague now.
Oh, wow.
I've been on the radio. He's on 5 Live now, so I've been on the radio with him, which is nuts because, again, I remember those days.
Yeah. Bruce Dyer, I think I follow him on Instagram. He's doing his thing, man. It's good to see the legends still doing their thing. Also, let's get back to, we're talking about Manchester United and Arsenal.
We're getting sidetracked.
Games. I know that's how podcasts are, though. You know them ones. Just in it, you're just talking, vibing. And then we went to, let's talk about the Vieira. Patrick Vieira.
FA Cup again, yeah? FA Cup final this time.
2005.
Yeah. So this is Patrick Vieira's last hurrah for Arsenal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It was his
Sad
last
times.
act, the last kick of the ball.
Yeah.
And can I just say, this was a final that we got absolutely slaughtered.
Yeah, I remember that. Innit?
Like,
and we lost. I was pissed.
When I say slaughtered, I mean like it was embarrassing to a degree the way that Man United dominated this game. It was at the Millennium Stadium, and it weren't even at Wembley because obviously they were building a new Wembley. And like I just thought, there's no way we're going to win this game.
Yeah.
We're getting battered, and then it went to extra time, and I'm like, okay, like maybe we can nick a goal in extra time, like let's see. And then it went to penalties, and obviously anything can happen in penalties.
Scholes
it's funny, Scholes missed the penalty for United, but I watched these the other day. I watched them all, and Arsenal's penalty takers. It's not the people that you would have necessarily expected to take the penalties. I mean, at the time, yes, because you obviously know who your penalty takers are. But like, Lauren took one of the penalties. But look, Lauren was a marksman from the penalty spot, bruv. He was a marksman. Ashley Cole took one of the penalties.
Cole done his thing.
His penalty was sick as well.
He
Top
wasn't playing.
bins.
He had pressure them times as well.
Top bins.
Them times when Chelsea were trying to poach him and
Yeah.
So there was pressure on him.
And then obviously Vieira stepped up to take the last penalty. And it was to win it.
But before that, we say that because you have to remember that Vieira and Keane's rivalry was deep. But what the bittersweet moment for Vieira is that Keane scored the penalty, I do believe. Before. And then Vieira's got to step up and get the winning penalty in his last game.
So Keane scored the penalty to keep Man United in it. Because if he missed, they would have lost. And so then Vieira stepped up. And all I remember about Vieira's penalty is it wasn't the best penalty.
Yeah.
Did the keeper get a hand to it, or he got
a
close
little
to it?
Something to it. He didn't look confident either when he was stepping up.
It weren't the best pen, but it went over the line, and obviously, I just remember thinking, how have we blagged this game? But obviously at the time I didn't care at all because we beat Man United in the FA Cup, and now it's mad because obviously Arsenal and United are the two teams who have got the most FA Cup. Well, Arsenal got the most, and then United are next, then
Okay. All right. We'll give you that one.
Yeah. Trust me. You United fans love trotting out the amount of league titles you've got.
You're at 17 now.
You Liverpool fans and all of that. But FA Cups, that's our thing, as Frimpong would say.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But that was excellent. And for Vieira, that must have been so bittersweet, just to that rivalry of him and Keane, to kind of get the final hurrah,
the final dig in. I mean, it was a sad time for me, man, because he was really he was the guy that kick-started the Wenger era for me, because a lot of people always talk about Dennis Bergkamp, but Dennis Bergkamp was bought by Bruce Rioch before Wenger signed. Do you know what I mean? So like Vieira was kind of like the real first guy that Wenger brought in.
Yeah.
And when I read Ian Wright's book, he kind of talks about the moment where he sees Vieira for the first time, and he's just like this kind of tall, like rangy, kind of skinny guy.
Yeah.
French, doesn't really speak great English or whatever, but obviously went on to be a powerhouse for Arsenal, you know, and like. I still
him and Emmanuel Petit, bad boys.
But people even to this day, bruv. You know, we've obviously signed Thomas Partey this season, and he's been a bit hit or miss though first season. But like even to this day, people say we never replaced Vieira. You know, from when Vieira left, we still have never replaced him. And I know it's hard to replace a player of that caliber, but we haven't even got close. You know.
Give Emmanuel Petit his flowers as well, because I feel like their partnership
played a different role though, didn't he? You know, like to Vieira, but you know he was the yin to Vieira's yang. I guess.
Them two's link up. There's something about them two and
the French connection.
Aura. Yeah, it was a legendary time. You put fear into teams when them two was on the team sheet. You know?
Trust me.
Sports with Blake.
On Dan Blake TV on YouTube. 8-2. Bruv, wait, bruv. I don't know. Some of the games I picked, I just say, bruv. I'm just bare shots, like.
Yeah, but it's, like, listen, that's United Arsenal, innit? So you're going 8-2, yeah. One of the worst days of my life.
Really?
Oh, bruv. Not only did we...
Yeah, it was a bad day,
bruv. We got absolutely...
I was cussing Arsenal fans forever. That's my one anyway.
Battered.
I always draw for that. Anytime Arsenal fan bring it on me, that's what I'm drawing for, the 8-2.
Yeah, but I don't blame you, because if it was the other way round, it would be the same. You know what I mean? Like, that right there, I don't even know how that happened, because...
Just one of them days, isn't it? Just the start of the season. It was early doors. It was early season blues coming back.
Bruv, like, I get what you're saying, and while I agree it was early doors...
Yeah.
Like, you're still a Premier League side. How are you getting dealt with like a League 2 side?
Bruv, the players were in Iron Apple all summer. They come back too many tequilas and all of that. Like,
Bruv, they must have been on the tequilas that morning. Like,
get me a bit of DJ Luck and MCD. Like,
well, we needed a little bit of luck that night.
A little bit of luck.
We didn't get it. You know, we got master blasted.
The pitch.
You know what I mean? We got master blasted. Trying to think of other DJ Luck and MCD tunes.
There ain't no stopping us.
Oh, there weren't no stopping Man United that day.
There we go. Jeez. But there's a couple of goals in that game that was pretty cool. I thought was Wayne Rooney had a nice shot in that game, and then Ashley Young. I'll give it. And Ashley Young. He was a man that he could strike a ball though. Ashley Young. Yeah. He knows how to get a curl in here and there. Ashley Young. I'll give it to him.
He's gone to Inter Milan and won a title, mate. So.
Really, he's doing his thing. Yeah, big up Ashley Young. You know, another honourable Man United player, long standing. And then we go into 0-0. 2003, Van Nistelrooy. Vieira. No, Keown and Van Nistelrooy.
So this one, again, another mad game. So United got a penalty in like the last minute, innit?
Yeah.
So it was like super late in the game. Like, and Van Nistelrooy steps up, and Van Nistelrooy again, marksman. I'm expecting him to slot this penalty.
There was pressure though. Everyone was onto him that day.
I'm expecting, because the game before this, we should contextualise. It was spicy. You know what I mean? But I'm expecting Van Nistelrooy. He's a Premier League footballer, mate. He should be able to step up and bang this in. You know, like, and that's fully what I was expecting. So I'm depressed now. You know, I'm thinking, I'm going to get text messages from... Because it's obviously pre-social media, isn't it? I'm thinking I'm going to get text messages from all my United supporting friends slewing me again. Here we go. And then man hit the crossbar. Slammed it against the crossbar. And then what followed was just mental. Like, all of a sudden,
Euphoria.
Martin Keown turned into Dracula. Man got... He was like... He was channeling his inner Dracula, jumping all over the back of Van Nistelrooy. Because I'm sure the final whistle pretty much went right away.
It went. He jumped. I thought he was going to do a WWE move on him, like.
Bro,
you know?
It was crazy. Like, and I think the two sets of players ended up getting fined or in trouble or whatever. But I swear now the punishment would be more severe.
Yeah, but he actually, when they were jumping on him, he actually clipped him.
That's what I mean. He's like physical.
He clipped him. Like, he literally landed on him like some WWE.
And Van Nistelrooy was acting acting all like sheepish and scared and that. You know what I mean?
Because Fergie was backing him in the press conference after. I was like, Fergie, man, all my players play professionally. I was like, no, forget all that. Like, where was all the man them? I didn't see none of the man them on. None of the man them was there for Man. This story out there. No one backed it.
These were the epic times.
No one backed it, mate.
Epic times between United and Arsenal.
No, you done him over that day. No one backed it, bro. Man, you was smooth as soft.
They were shook though because that's when that's when Arsenal used to have guys that could look after themselves.
No, you weren't playing game. No, you were Warriors though. I remember the Invincible. You guys were Warriors. Like,
but the thing is, the weird thing is, you're right. But like, can you remember there was that period, the trophy drought, where basically everybody said we were like soft bellied, like.
Yeah, I remember that after.
We went from having this team of like massive guys.
Yeah,
who
you had
this
massive tall men.
You just would not mess with them. To like the Nilsson.
Yeah,
you know, you remember him?
You was trying to go with gravity players. Like,
them guys there, like Jack Wilshere, like who used to just get kicked all the time. And the thing is, Jack, to be fair to him, he would always try and stand his ground. But he's only a little guy. You know what I mean? Like, and even like Dennis Bergkamp, who I mentioned earlier. Dennis Bergkamp was silky, bruv, but he weren't afraid to like, you know what I mean, dish it out when he needed to.
Yeah, he was like a silent assassin.
That's what I'm saying, you know.
Jeez.
But yeah, that game, and that leads us on nicely. I think the next one, are we going the following season now? Is that where we're going?
We're going pizza.
2004.
Jeez, what topping was this?
Pizza Gate.
Pizza Gate.
This is what I'm talking about. You know, I know that the world is a bit more sanitized now, just in general. But like, I just feel like this kind of stuff wouldn't happen anymore. Yeah, you know, where did the pizza even come from?
Because the thing about I think Fabregas was saying that like he didn't know. He said it was too much commotion and beef going on at the time. That, you know, when he's come and seen the beef and he's like, how can I get a piece? How can I get involved in this? So he said, all right. I'll throw the pizza, and he's dashed the pizza. Then it's hit, and it's gone over everybody, and it's just hit Fergie straight in the face. Was it the game
that ended the Invincible run?
Yeah, it was. It was the game that ended the run.
Yeah, so that is why it was the 49 and out, innit? Yeah, so like, obviously Arsenal now, the tables are turned a year later. The Keown one, euphoric. A year later, Arsenal now are pissed, innit? Because it was the game as well, if I remember correctly. Was it Mike Riley reffing the game?
Yeah.
And my guy was in. He was giving United mad decisions.
United swings that way sometimes,
bro. He was giving United crazy decisions in that game.
Someone got a couple grand behind the scenes.
My guy did not want Arsenal to get that 50-0.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Those times there were just sickening.
So the decisions were a bit mad anyway. You know, it is what it is. Yeah. But then the pizza thing.
Oh, mate.
So what happened is the game finishes. United are all jubilant because not only have they beaten us, they've ended the unbeaten run and all of that. Celebrating hard, and then all of a sudden there's like a melee in the tunnel.
Ultimate Royal Rumble.
Do you know what? I love a melee in the tunnel.
I like it, man.
Like, I know this is a bit of a sidetrack, but you know it happens. Don't know if you remember when I think it was Wigan beat Man City, not in the final, in like the semi-final. Of the FA Cup. It was either the semi or the earlier round. Anyway, they had a camera in the tunnel, and it was like Pep Guardiola was going mad in there, like arguing with like one of the guys, and then the BBC who was showing the game cut away, and I was like, no, like that's what we want to see. We were like, he was beefing, I think the Wigan manager, and then they like cut it away, like
psychological warfare with the manager.
But so like, but obviously the Old Trafford tunnel. Imagine, wouldn't you have loved to have been a fly on the wall in that tunnel?
I loved it. It was proper like Royal Rumble stuff. Like, you know that WWE, when they're all in the ring at the same time and they're all going for
over the top rope, basically.
Just whoever's every man for himself.
Like it just would have been amazing to have like known, because you know the players. They'll come out and tell us bits and pieces, but I don't know whether they'll come out and ever say the full thing. You know, like there's stories that have come out that we've heard.
It looked like they was getting full on.
Listen, pizza got dashed at Fergie's head.
And he was saying that he was aiming it. He was saying he was aiming it for the centre or something, but he ended up just hitting Fergie accidentally right on the side cheek.
Such a liar!
And it dripped down his face.
Sir Alex, you know you've pizza pied him in the face. That is.
I'm just wondering. I always wondered though. He didn't say what topping it was, bro. What was the topping? Cheese and tomato, pineapple, and
margarita.
Margarita. You know what I mean? How deep was the splash? The sauce dripping down.
Was it a deep pan?
You're lying. Like how deep was the drip, as they say?
Was it an oily one? You know?
How drilly was the drip of the pizza? Drilly drip pizza.
Listen, Cesc, if you can get in touch and let us know, that'd be useful.
Fabregas.
Cheers.
We want to know, bro.
I know you're watching.
Jeez. Oh, my. That was absolute legendary stuff. I live for football moments like that. It was excellent. Pizza Gate. Oh, wow.
Where are you going next? Come on, what other terrible one have you got for me?
Oh, you know what? It's decent. This one's like...
With your little notepad over there, like this is the notepad of doom. This guy's got. He's just wheeling out terrible memories for me and all the other Arsenal fans out there.
But then, like, you know what? But I gave you free window to pick yours as well. You know. So,
yeah. You're scrolling through that notepad hard though. I'm not gonna lie.
You know what? Rashford. No, we're talking about Rashford's debut. Let's go to that now. Rashford's debut game. Okay. It was a 3-2. You know that one. I just want to big up Rashford on his debut.
Yeah.
It was the mark of a player that I thought just had the minerals. You know, just by seeing that young energy, the way he was twiddling, he looked like he was itching to play ball. You know, I didn't know where he. I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't up on his history before I saw that game. But then I just saw this young guy on the pitch, and I was like, this guy, he looks hungry. He went on the pitch, scored 2. Ran to the crowd with passion like I'd never seen, and I thought, yeah, this guy, he's going places.
You know, for me, like I was gonna come back and moan about Marcus Rashford, but it's impossible. Yeah. Now, obviously, what he's doing for the kids and stuff like that, you know, I can't begrudge him for anything that he's done. So yeah, big up Marcus Rashford. Obviously, you know, I still didn't like it, but still don't like seeing my team lose. But yeah, hold tight, Rashi. I just wanted to give an honourable mention because I don't think it's on the list. Yeah. But the Lingard dance floor game.
Oh, Jojo, what you got something to say about that, mate?
You remember that one when he scored and he did the Millie Rock at the Emirates?
Oh yeah, of course.
That's what I'm saying.
Of course. Yes, that's a big goal. That's a big goal.
I hated that.
And it's like, it's the dance that took it to a next level, I feel like. Culturally, the dance at the time was huge.
That goal there.
Yeah, that was a good shout, you know.
That goal there, like...
Oh my days, good shout.
Even all these ones you mentioned, the 8-2, there was another big loss for Arsenal as well, 6-3.
Was it
6-1, I think, or something like that? I tried to blank them out of my mind. Yeah. But they hurt, obviously, for obvious reasons, because we got absolutely slapped. But to see Lingard doing that on the Emirates pitch and then posting about it, that was the worst.
Yeah,
this is the thing now.
Social media was like starting to pop them times.
Yeah, so he posted it was either the picture or the video. And you know you can tag your location on Insta. Yeah. He tagged it as dance floor. It's just like, this is so disrespectful.
The dance floor.
So disrespectful.
Oh my God.
But then, you know...
somebody's not getting invited to the Emirates anytime soon.
Like, that one hurt, you know, so... I just thought I'd just get that in there, just in case it was in your little book of pain.
That weren't even there, you know. That was in the book of pain. But you know what? I want to give you your shout-outs and honourable when Will Tord secured the Premier League title for the Gunners. That was very painful. That's one of the most painful... That is the most painful for me. You know, Arsenal-Man United rivalry, I was crushed. To see Arsenal win the title on our ground.
Do you know what's nice about Arsenal is we've won the title at our two... Well, we've won the title in some amazing places.
Oh my God!
Like, we've won the title at White Hart Lane, which was amazing. We won the title at Old Trafford, the Will Tord goal.
I want to collapse.
And if you go back even further, Anfield '89, it's obviously pre-Premier League.
Yeah, I'll give you your flowers, bro.
But Michael Thomas, you remember that?
Yeah.
We had to win by 2 clear goals at Anfield.
Yeah.
Like, nobody had beaten Liverpool at Anfield that season by 2 clear goals.
Yeah.
It's up for grabs now. Yeah. Chipped it over. Come on, like, to do that is crazy. Thank you. I mean, it's nothing to do with me, but
no, because that's to do it on. It's something about that. It's so disrespectful.
Trust, like to do like the Will Tord goal as well. Even the bit of commentary, Will Tord.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just and salute to Will Tord, man. I think it was nice that he got the goal as well, man. I think
because he was playing at a you know, can you imagine being the ultimate side man at a club? Yeah. You know, even
there we go. That's what it was. I felt like he wasn't the guy.
Yeah, but it's because he was there when Henry was there, bro. You're never gonna be the guy when you've got Henry. It's like whoever plays next to Lionel Messi is not gonna be the guy. Yeah. That's why people say. I mean, I can't prove this, but people say that's why Neymar left Barcelona because Neymar was playing with Messi, and Neymar wanted to be the main man at the club that he was at. You know what I mean? And Messi's always going to be the main man at Barcelona. So 100%. Neymar went PSG and became the main guy at PSG, innit? You know?
That's it, man. And yeah, so we had a great chat about Arsenal, Man United, some of the best games, memories and moments. We discussed goals. I hope you enjoyed it. The Sports with Blake podcast. You know, it's only right that we touched on two of the greatest clubs, you know, ever to grace the football pitches, and we salute them. More trophies alive. What's the expectations you're feeling? I'm not going. Honourable shout out to Darren Lang as well, one of my colleagues, man. Honourable shout out, big Arsenal fan. Also, bro, how you feeling about just this season, like in general, like, and the growth for Arsenal for the new season coming up?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know how to feel completely because obviously, if you're looking at it from a base level, this season has been a complete failure.
Yeah,
like no European qualification, no trophies. You know, no nothing essentially. The team's not playing that well. Pressure on the manager, pressure on the ownership, but. From where I stand, this is my own personal opinion, because some people like to get on me because I work for Arsenal and I do stuff for Arsenal. But I'm telling you this not as an Arsenal. I'm not an employee anyway. I'm a freelancer. But I'm telling you this as a opinion that I hold. I don't think we should sack Arteta yet. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. He's had a terrible season, and I think if fans were in, they would be on his back. If he was, if they were in the stadium, they would have been on his back. But he's a young coach, and he's hungry, and he wants the success. Like you can see it when he speaks in the press conferences and blah blah blah. And I feel like, he could be an amazing future manager. Like you don't want to be the club that sacked him too soon. Yeah. All right, so let's see how it goes first half of next season. If it's still a disaster, then we'll talk about it again. But it's his first big managerial appointment. Let's try and stick with him, show him some love. Yeah. Fans back in stadiums next season, and we'll see how it goes. I'm not adverse to sacking him if it carries on the way it is. But for me, as is now, let's just keep going, man. The big thing for me is the playing staff, bro. Yeah. The personnel in the team. Like, we need to sign some players, basically, But the thing is, I say we need to sign some players. We've got William Saliba and Gabriel. Yeah. That should be our centre-back pairing next season, Like, I don't know why Saliba was sent out on loan. It's all a bit weird. They've been a bit cloak and dagger about it all. I literally know nothing. Like, it's because some people say to me, like, oh, you must hear stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I literally know nothing, Saliba was sent out on loan, and that was just a big shock to me. So, let's get him back in. Thomas Partey firing properly. I think we need another central midfielder, because obviously Dani Ceballos is going to go back to Real Madrid. Let's get a centre midfielder in there that can do a job. Yeah. Yves Bissouma is like, people are talking about Yves Bissouma coming from Brighton. That'd be a good signing. I've seen some Arsenal fans talking about Jack Grealish, but these people need a reality check. You know what I mean? Like, Jack Grealish ain't coming to Arsenal. Are you mad?
I feel like Arsenal. I feel like you need like a. What can I say? You need what United have got up front, bro. I think you need some big experience to come back into the club. Yeah, you need a couple of them. But bro, I feel like you need a couple of OGs.
You're saying that, but like, how old is Cavani?
Wait, he's 35?
I think he's younger than that. I think Cavani's like 33, 34.
Oh, about 33, I think. Maybe
Aubameyang is 32, 33.
Oh, he's getting up there now.
So it's like, you say that, we need experience. But like, we've got it. Aubameyang and Lacazette is 30, 31, I think.
Why do you think they're the greatest kind of guiders, like, where they've got that?
I'm not saying, especially in... Look, Aubameyang is he's had a tough season, but nobody can dispute his credentials, right? Yeah. From what he's done from St Etienne, Dortmund, Arsenal. He's had a tough season. Sometimes that can happen. I'm hoping it's just a blip in his record. We'll have to wait and see. But he, in my opinion, is still a marksman. He's still a player who, knows where the back of the net is, that's for sure. I feel like we need another player with him that can do that job. People are saying Martinelli might be the guy, but Martinelli doesn't get that many starts. I just want to see us change the way we play football more than anything else next season. Because doing the match day show for Arsenal, I do the breakdown live, which is basically the match day coverage.
Amazing.
And but at times this season, bro, you say it's amazing. At times this season, it's been so difficult to watch because the football is so boring. So next season I want to see that change. I want to see us playing well, and even if we don't win anything again, I just want to see the level of football improving.
That's a good, good analogies, and it's good to see that Arsenal, next season it should be a better season, I feel, for you guys. And
fingers crossed.
Yeah, man. Big up Arsenal every time. And Man United, even our season, it's been our away record's been brilliant. I'm happy that
I feel like we need to say, as we speak.
Yeah.
As this is being recorded.
As this is being recorded. Tonight
is a big game for you. So you can't say either way, whether you're happy or sad at this exact moment in time. But by the time this comes out and people see it,
this is what I'm going to do, yeah. Hold on. We're going to do two expressions right now. We're going to do happy and then sad, yeah. So Jojo, the way you cut this, I'm going to be doing I'm going to do happy first, yeah.
I think you should put the sad one in just for a laugh, even if they win.
Ready, yeah? Yes! 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 Yes, Europa! We won the Europa! United! Red Army! Right, here we go.
You need to relax.
All right, that's me on a happy one. Now we're gonna do sad. Fucking hell, wow.
Yes! Come on, Villarreal. The Yellow Submarine. I told everybody they were the best when they beat Arsenal. When they beat Arsenal in the last round, I said, Unai Emery, good evening. This guy, you know what I mean?
Because Maguire weren't playing.
Yeah. Maguire didn't get his head on it.
Yeah, so there we go. Happy, sad emotions done. But when you see this, the Europa League final would have been played already. The results have been out, but we're just going to talk on it. So, Europa League final.
How do you feel as a United fan? Obviously there was huge disappointment that Manchester United got knocked out of the Champions League the way that they did. Shouldn't have happened, but it happened. Is the Europa League a consolation prize now for you, or will you be happy still, or what?
No, you know what it is, bro. It's a turning curve, man. It's a new road. If we can get this Europa, it's been 4 years since the last one. Shouts to Jose, but this for Solskjaer is defining. He needs to collect this trophy tonight to show that his intention for the future and that we mean business next season, to show that I got a trophy under the belt, second in the table, undefeated away. It's all honourable stats, and this will kind of secure the hat-trick of credibility, I feel, for his managerial record. So tonight, he needs to not play no games tonight. I don't want to see no dodgy tactics tonight. I don't even want to see Fred playing, but big up Fred. But not tonight. I just want to see Pogba playing, controlling the mid. I want to see Fernandes in there doing his thing strong, having a confident game. I want to see, those Rashford also firing. I feel like he's a bit injury. I feel like he's struggling with something at the moment, but I hope he plays and he's on the pitch. But I feel that we can't underestimate Villarreal there, because they're going to come in wanting to win the game as well. Yeah. So we can't slip tonight. It's not going to be easy, bro.
Look, as an Arsenal fan, I was super disappointed we lost to Villarreal. Like they're a decent side, but they're not as good as Arsenal, and they're definitely not as good as Man United. So if Man United lose tonight, you've only got yourselves to blame, because there we go. I think that Man United on there. If Man United have a mediocre day, I still think they're good enough to beat Villarreal. Yeah. It's only if Man United have a terrible day that I think you'll lose.
This is it. I feel we're gonna go with a kind of an attacking game, putting the pressure on them. I feel like it's gonna be a 3-1. There's something in my mind. I feel like a prediction of a 3-1. I feel we'll win it, and this is a tide changer, because I feel like from here it's where next season this will show. Next season will show if Solskjaer is really up for this job. Because it's all good playing the fairy game of getting to second place, but Champions League, you're not doing well in the Champions League. We're getting knocked out early stage. It's not good enough. If we want to beat Man City and be on their level, we need to step up. We need to level up. We can't continue to be doing the same thing. And if you're not the man to take us there, then we're going to have to find someone that will take us there. As much as I love Solskjaer and he's a club legend, but also what I want to say on this day, people need to realise it's another iconic day for this fact alone. I believe, let me just double check my facts, because I don't want to get this wrong on camera, I believe, that it's
The Book of Pain comes out again.
The Book of Pain, but I got to get this fact in. It's a big fact as well. absolute amazing fact, bro. If I can find it.
Your notes are a mazza. What is going on
Yeah,
here?
it's all over the place, isn't it?
There's no order to these
no
notes.
order to
I feel like you're just flicking through like a madman looking for stats. What's going on here? Why is it not in order?
Yeah, it's 22 years, bro.
Right, okay.
22 years. 22 years since the Champions League final when Solskjaer scored the goals today.
The treble.
Yeah, 22 years since the treble goal that Solskjaer banged it in, and United took that Bayern Munich, took that game and won it. So Solskjaer, it's a defining day. If he can do it today, culturally, it's defining. It's history, and it's a big day for that alone. That fact alone. There's a lot on him tonight to make it happen and put the tide in the ship, bro.
I think United fans are because of the recent history of the club.
Yeah.
You're and it's a final, and I get anything can happen. So a lot of United fans are a bit nervous and blah blah blah. But from an outsider's point of view, I fully expect this to be a comfortable Manchester United win this evening. Man.
I hope so.
Like comfortable Man United win. Yeah. If this was like, I don't know, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, would you be scared of a final against Villarreal?
Nah, but we're not the same United.
No, I get that,
we took that confidence. Just like when Fergie left, we took that whole confidence beating, battering.
Yeah.
I feel like Arsenal going through similar things. You lost Wenger, so we're cut from the same cloth of losing big managers and having to recover. It took us ages to look. We ain't won the title in years. So I feel like we're just getting to the point where we're getting a bit of legs to do it.
You lot, yeah. Us lot, not so much. You know what I mean?
Give it another 5 years,
Mid-table this season.
Give it, I don't know, 2020, 2020, 30, 2020, 30.
Jeez.
Anyway, but
listen, the kit that just came out. By the time we win the title again, the kit that just came out, the yellow one with just the cannon on it. I don't know if you've seen that. They wore it. They wore it the other day against Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
That kit, that will be like this vintage one that I'm wearing by the time we win the title next time. You know what I mean?
Oh my days, man. But anyway, Europa League. I think we're gonna do it tonight, man. And
I agree.
It's a tide changer now, and it's time to level up and really, go for the Premier League title next season. But I feel like we need to buy some more players. I was saying it on the last podcast, on first episode that came out. I would love us to buy Ronaldo right now. I feel that's like a slept-on signing that people ain't talking about. He wants to leave.
Bring him back.
Yeah, I would love it. Just as a little token thing. Last season.
Yeah, but that's I don't know, man. I get what you're saying, but I think that's big wages for a player who is fully in the September of his career now.
But he's still banging in the goals.
Yeah, he's banging in the goals in Serie A.
You think he wouldn't bang him in the Prem?
And I think he'd do well in the Prem, but I think there's a lot of romanticism about that decision.
That's it.
United fans are like,
it's a romance too.
Yeah, but it's like you get back with an ex and you think about all the good times you had.
The good times.
And you're like, oh yeah, when I bring her back, it's going to be amazing. And then when she comes back, it's like...
Yeah, what are you doing here kind of thing.
All the stuff, it's nowhere near as good as it was. Yeah. You know what I mean? So there's a danger of that. And also the wage thing is a issue for me because Ronaldo's going to be mega bucks. That's why his next move, in my opinion, can only really be America or... China or something like that.
That I proper want that whole romantic vibe. But we started at United, we scouted you, you went away, Spain, Italy, come back, end your career. Little link up with Cavani, lovely little link up there.
No way.
So what about Harry Kane to United then, quickly? What do you think? What do you reckon? He looks like he may be on it, The way he's talking, he wants to leave Tottenham.
Yeah, I think he wants to leave Tottenham. But
I watched the Gary Neville podcast, hour deep, they was talking on the golf course and that, and it looked like, he won out.
I think that I think he wants to leave Spurs because he's never going to win the league at Spurs, right?
Yeah.
They might win cups, but he's never going to win the league at Spurs, right? So I think that's going to happen. Whether he goes to United is the question for me because I know United, again, globally, a massive club, huge, right? But if Man City are in for you and if Chelsea are also in for you, Man United are up against it on two fronts there. And I'll tell you what they are. They're up against it because obviously City are better than United.
Yeah.
So
In agreement.
So even though United are the bigger club in terms of fan base and blah, 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 City are better. So, like, why would you go United when City want you? So there's that. And then if Chelsea want you, Man United are up against it because we know Harry Kane's a bit of a home bird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, he's with his high school sweetheart. You know, they got kids together. Like, his family. He's from my around where I live now. You know what I mean? He's from like Walthamstow.
Yeah.
So it's like that's why he's an Arsenal boy. You know, we've all seen him in the O2 kit. You know, but yeah. So if Chelsea come in for him, he might not have to move house. You know what I mean? He'd be around his family. Chelsea are going to be sick next season under Thomas Tuchel as well. Like, they got money. So I think United are up against it. Like, that's not me ruling United out, but I just think he's definitely going to have options. Everybody's going to want him, innit? And obviously overseas are going to be interested as well. But I just don't know whether he'll go overseas because, like I said, he's a bit of a home guy, innit?
Yeah, it's interesting to say. You were saying, I think he was talking about even like, he was talking about the psychology again of like, you mentioned it earlier about I don't know, American kind of players and the culture of the sports, and he was just saying about how the energy and the entertainment value. He was mentioning the same thing.
In this documentary
podcast,
with
Gary Neville.
Gary Neville must have been putting in the work on that golf course because we all know Gary Neville's United, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, he must have been, as soon as the cameras went off, he must have been like, "Come on, Azza, like,
trying to get that,
sign the team."
Trying to get that
you
team
know
signed.
what I mean? Yeah, you would, wouldn't you? You know?
Yeah, bro.
Maybe he'll come to Arsenal.
Yeah, this is what I'm trying to say. Do a Sol Campbell, innit?
No way. Like, not a chance.
But even going Chelsea, that's a bit cheeky. Going Chelsea.
Listen, mate. Like,
super cheeky as well.
As fans, we get emotionally attached to the clubs that we support because, you know, it's tribal, you know. But for players, again, you almost have to desensitize yourself to everything and remember that it's a job for them.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be like, I don't know, working at B&Q and then Wix come along and say, "Yo, bro, we want you to come and do the same job for bare dough."
Yeah.
You know, you go, "Yeah, but man's loyal to B&Q, man.
Yeah.
They took me from young." You know, like, you're gonna go, "What's the P saying?"
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
This is it.
So it's like, for footballers, I'm not saying it's exactly the same. Obviously, you know, they understand rivalry, and that's why I even if Arsenal wanted Harry Kane or could afford Harry Kane, I don't think he would come to Arsenal.
Yeah.
But like, you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
you know, even though Tevez did it, didn't he?
Oh.
You know?
There we go. So there we go. Arsenal, Man United talk. All good. Nick Bright, Dan Blake.
Sports with Blake.
On Dan Blake TV on YouTube.
Dan meets sports fanatics and some of the biggest sports entertainment stars